Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Everse Chat. This episode is brought to you by the hair on my chinny chin chin.
Everse Chat.
Just kidding, this episode is not brought to you by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Why? Because we got our very first sponsor. So cue the audio FX, the cheers, the children, the triumphant trumpets, and all of the above. Because, hey, we got a sponsor. So our sponsor is Verywell Health. So they reached out to me and said, hey, we really like what you're doing, keep it up. And we want to be your first sponsor because we heard all your other stuff and it sounded pretty pitiful. So here you go. So thanks for that, Verywell. So if you're ever in the Houston area there on the west side of the city and you happen to fall ill or you just know some family that lives out there, make sure you point them to Verywell Health. They specialize in primary care, family care, and all of those fun things that you need in your everyday life. So don't just be well, be very well. And getting into episode 9 here, this is actually a interview I had with one of my good friends, Keshsa V. She's I think in her introduction, she's very humble, but she is a marketing mastermind that I met last year, and she was recently in town here from New Jersey, so she agreed to jump on an episode and share some of her tips and tricks. So let's hear what she had to say. All right, we're here with my good friend Keshsa V.
Yes.
Cool, I got it right. All right, and yeah, so she agreed to come on the podcast, and we're just gonna chop it up and talk about naming businesses. That's actually an experience that we bonded over during our business week, Odyssey, and we still kind of just bounce ideas off of each other now and then. So we're just gonna share our views, opinions on what goes into naming a business. So Keshsa, I'll let you introduce yourself to everybody in Everse Chat, and then we'll just start talking.
Thank you, Kellen, for having me on this show. My name is Keshsa V. I am a marketing entrepreneur, more to do with sustainability, and I help startups with their digital marketing strategies. That's what I do. I did have a business venture of my own previously and looking to start a few more in the future. So yeah, naming a business I think is a very fun topic, and I think I'm able to relate this more now, especially because I have named 2 businesses already and looking to name my 3rd business, which is sort of like an adventure. It's like a fun adventure. It's like a roller coaster. Every morning you get up excited, saying that, oh, this is going to be the name of my business. But then all of a sudden, the more you think about it, you'll be like, oh, damn, people might not understand what my business is all about, or, the name has already been taken, or it's just confusing. And like you said, Kellen, I think we bonded together over the whole naming thing when I was naming my digital platform. Luckily, I think after like 3 months, I finally decided on a name. It's called Fair Spot. So the whole process of naming took me at least 3 months. I know it's a long process. Sometimes names take six months. Sometimes naming takes like over a year. Sometimes if you're lucky, it's just like an overnight thing. So it's I think a lot of luck, and it's a lot of hard work. I think it's the very first step to a successful business. It's because I think this is what people get to know your business about. This is your very first identity of people to get to know your business. So as far as process goes, there's no like technical part which says this is step 1 or step 2 or this is what you have to do in step 3. It's just putting together your thoughts on what your business is, what are your offerings, what are your product offerings, what are your service offerings, who your customer is going to be at the end of the day. I think that is the most important part with naming your business, because if at the end of the day, if they don't understand the name, or they don't understand what you're offering, then it's a mess. So understand who your customer is. A profiling helps. Profiling your customer, saying that this is where they shop, or this is who my customer is. That would help. Like, sort of words that they can associate with is a good step while naming your business. I've When I started naming, we went around with processes. I came up with, okay, can we go to animals? Can we go to like birds? Can we do something with crystallization processes? So it was a lot of brain work. I used a lot of brains. It's not a one man job. Sometimes naming is not a one man job. So get 2 or 3 of your close friends or families to help you out. Bounce ideas off of them and ask them what they think about the name, because sometimes they might have like a better version of your name. It's just that little version difference that can make a difference to your business name.
Oh, definitely. Fun fact: Everse chat is probably. I'm going to go ahead and give the credit to Keshsa here. That was part of that process that she was talking about, where I had what I thought was a cool name, and then I started bouncing it off of people, and they were like, what is that? And luckily she came in and saved the day with that one. So you never know who is going to have that idea that just clicks. So Keshsa, question for you. So you talked a lot about what to do. What are some things not to do when you're naming something?
I think that's a great question, Kellen, because I think when you start naming, like I would always say, keep your mind open to suggestions and opinions from people. And I would also suggest keeping all your 5 senses open, because sometimes you never know where you get your motivation and inspiration for names from. But then it's also very important to keep a checklist of things of not to do. Don't keep a name that is too long that people will forget. Like, don't keep a 5-word name. It's like the ABCDEFGHI, but people cannot remember what comes after I. So something that is like really short, crisp that people can remember. Like, just think about Uber and Apple and just like simple short names. Like when I went through the whole process of naming Fair Spot, it was something that I wanted that was like short, that people could even remember and recollect. So think about something that is really short and simple. Don't try, even if they're like short, simple, don't try to like creatively spell them. Like, you don't have to spell like as Lyke. You just keep it as Like, so that people do not like, because at the end of the day, when people think about going to your website or, searching you, they are not going to remember Lyke. They're going to remember Like, because that's how they remember, like, generic names. Or even if you had to do black, you don't have to do BLAACK. Just keep it as BLACK. Just keep it very simple. You don't have to keep it like too complicated. Obviously, do your domain name research, because at the end of the day, you want your website. So do your domain research. Do your competitor research. Don't keep your name too generic so that people don't understand, that they get confused. Don't keep it too specific, or don't keep it too descriptive in a way that it is a hindrance for your own business growth. Like, don't keep it as pinkponytails.com for when you're doing just something with hair. What if you want to like extend to makeup? Pink Ponytails is not going to help you extend to makeup. So keep something more generic, but don't keep it too descriptive, not too generic. Keep it something that is like a little more broader. And also, if you're narrowing down to any name, again, go back to your target audience and ask them if that name relates to them. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be overthinking a name, and then you come up with a name and you are super happy with it, but then it's not workable because your business does not, like, your customers do not associate with the name, or it's just like a doomsday. So you might as well just do your research. And obviously, we are like in a technology world. Google, Bing, Yahoo, local searches are like our best friends. So go do your research. Do a lot of research. Social media, go to all social media handles and find out if that name is available, so that you can just go back and take it.
Okay, those are all good points. So I have a question. What happens when you're naming something and you're stuck, but you're dealing with other people and you have to compromise? You have to come up with a happy medium or something. What is your philosophy? Do you pick your battles? Do you stand your ground? How do you navigate that landscape?
Again, that's another excellent question, Kellen. I think I've been through a situation where I was dealing with two other people naming my previous businesses. But fortunately for me, I don't think we ran into a situation where both of us were stuck and we were grounded with our name options and said, this is what we want to be with. So, what worked for us, and I think would be best, would be to write down or talk it out as to why you're standing on a particular word, or why are you very adamant about a particular sentence, or a structure, a combination of words. There might be a strong reasoning behind it, definitely. You know Talking about black, why have you chosen the word black? I do not agree with black because, or I agree with black because, so there's always that reasoning. So it's always putting down that pros and cons and saying that, okay, if I did go ahead with this name, would my, I think it's also going back to the fact, like where I mentioned earlier, it's about how the target audience is going to react to your name. Because at the end of the day, your name of the business is either going to, grow your business or it's going to doom your business. Because if people don't like your name, they might not even come to you. So it's to keep your partners and your egos aside, and it's actually coming down to the fact, like, how will your target audience react to it? Are they going to take it positively? Are they going to take it negatively? And it's always, and if a situation like that arises, like you mentioned, like, there are people who have their own terms, why don't you actually do a poll and research? Go out, talk to people and say, okay, these are the options we have. What do you think of it? Or what comes to your mind when I say the word black? Or what comes to your mind when I say pink ponytails? So sort of like sit and understand from their perspective. Are they getting to what you're trying to get them to, or are they like completely off track? So I think that's going to give you and the people associated with you in the naming process a sort of a guide, and saying, okay, this is where these names or these words are taking us in the right path, and these words are taking us away from our path. So it's sort of doing research. If you ever get stuck, yes, you are definitely going to get stuck. It's not something, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight and it's going to be like a happy moment. You are going to butt heads with a lot of people. So it's just like going back, doing your research, talking to more people, talking to a lot of people. It's not talking to one or two people. Talk to 5 people, talk to 10 people from different areas, geographical areas, friends, family. Talk to strangers, because you never know, strangers might have, opinions about something. So talk to people. That's what is going to help you and the people get out of that stuck situation.
Yep. As always, wise information from Kesha. All right. Well, we're going to mix things up a little bit, and it's time for story time, but we have a guest storyteller. So it's story time.
Story time, fun time, huh? It's like more like bedtime. But don't worry, I hope not to put you to sleep. So again, I think I'm going to stick my story to the naming of my soon to be launching platform, Fair Spot. Again, I'm still stuck with that Fair Spot, this Fair Spot, the Fair Spot, a Fair Spot. So again, there are a few options, but that's purely because of domain reasons. So the story goes this way. I suddenly come up with this idea of starting this wonderful platform that sort of connects mission-driven businesses with conscious consumers. So it's basically a platform where you can find all places you can shop ethically. And I am doing this research. So I have like my mind is like absolutely blank, and I'm going nowhere with this. And I'm talking to a lot of people, trying to get feedback to make sure that the business that I'm trying to start makes sense or not. And then I happened to talk to a really lovely friend of mine based out of Washington. And it's funny because both of us have the same idea at the same time. So we're like, oh, let's work on it together. And we start our naming. And we started our name with, I think, I don't even remember now because this was like back in June where we started names. And literally, it took us 3 months, I think, June, July, August, September was when I finalized my name on Fair Spot. So it was a little, like a lot of back and forth. And we literally came up with names like fishes names, like crystallization. We went up to like miners, like going to like pearl diggers, like we were all pearl diggers. So literally we went to doing like, what are we doing? We're cleaning up the data. So we're like, oh, we're like cleaning up pearls. So let's the oysters and pearls. So we were like, we came up with names like oysters and pearls, and then we went to fish, and then we went to starfish. And then we were like, oh, let's go to hand-blown glass. So we went to hand-blown glass and all the process with hand-blown glass and crystallizations. And then I don't even remember what other things that we thought about. We thought about veganism, sustainability. I think it was like 3 weeks. We sat on the phone literally every day writing down just name options. It's not even funny, like the number of names that we came up with. It's just way too many names that we came up with. So I it's it's a process. I think I slept like there were so many nights that I did not sleep because of name. I in fact even went to Elephant, and I wanted to go and have like an Ellie chat or Ellie spot. I was like, I don't even know why that came up. I was like, Ellie pitch. Some things like random like that. We came up with random names because I was adamant that I wanted a one word name that was short, crisp. We even went with like colors. We went with so many things. So it's I think it was just like so many sleepless nights I've spent. I even translated every word that I thought about in different languages. Languages that I could speak. There were languages that I couldn't even speak, but it just sounded fascinating. At 2 a.m. in the morning, I'm actually translating the word fair, or I'm translating elephant, and I'm translating like happiness and pearl and crystallization, and all these words I'm translating into like Greek and Japanese and Chinese and Russian and languages I've like never spoken, or in fact I actually went to Google Translate and I came up with so many like different languages I haven't even heard of before. I mean, that's my bad, but I haven't even heard of like so many languages. I actually literally did that. So what, like 2 nights in a row I actually sat translating names because I wanted the best name to come up, and finally landed up at Fair Spot.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That I think everybody gets to that point where you're sitting on Google Translate and you're like, how did I even get here? What am I doing? But what is this language? And then you start like going down the rabbit hole of like, I wonder where this language came from, and blah 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 blah. That's actually I think that's how we came up with our first company name.
Really?
We were translating stuff, and I was like, Latin is always safe. And then I just like clicked the Wikipedia link with Latin, and then we finally got to Rome somehow. And then, and then that Praetorian was born from some weird Google rabbit hole search. But yeah, so it's a very, very poignant moral of the story is, you just got to keep digging and don't get discouraged. Well, Keshsa, it looks like our time is winding down here. I just wanted to thank you for coming all the way from New Jersey to sit here and partake in the Everse chat. So we'll give you a chance to do some shameless plugs here and some promo. So what do you want to tell everybody?
Thanks, Kellen, for having me. Yes, it's definitely a journey from New Jersey to here. Again, naming is not an overnight thing, so don't stress out, and look at different languages, different meanings, get motivation, inspiration from anything, everything, everybody. It can be your dog, it can be your baby, it can be your neighbor's dog, it can be the neighbor's puppy or chicken, or the crook or brook that is down the road. Anything, everything, just get inspiration, because you never know, anything can spark a name. That could be the next big thing. Shamelessly promoting my platform that I'm about to launch very soon, hopefully soon. It's called a Fair Spot. Again, it's like a directory. So if you ever want to like shop ethically and want to find places where you can shop ethically, do check it out. I think I will let you know when it's live. But till then, do keep if you have any suggestions or if you need anything about living an ethical lifestyle, yes, do get in touch with me. Thank you, Kellen, and best of luck with everything.
All right. Thank you. So once again, that's Fair Spot or the Fair Spot. We'll see which one wins the name Hunger Games here. And again, do you have any Instagram, anything like that you want to let people?
Soon.
Okay, coming soon. All right. So that's all the time. And I'm just going to shut up now, and I will talk to you later.